My favorite thing on the show, you're going to roll your eyes at me and think I'm crazy.
Braun Strowman.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
My favorite thing on this show was Bobby Lashley versus R-Truth.
Oh my God.
No, and I knew you would be annoyed at me, but I have a concrete argument to why this was the best thing on the show.
Bobby Lashley versus R-Truth was the WWE's WWE thing on that show. And when I'm saying that in mention to the main event, that's quite something, my opinion.
So a recurring theme on this show is that Vince McMahon doesn't understand that he puts on a TV show, right? So if you want to tell a story or do a character arc, yeah, it's got to start somewhere and it's got to lead to somewhere. Think of all the greatest TV shows ever, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, whatever. They always move forward. There's always a direction. If the story doesn't move forward, it's fucking boring and people stop tuning in to watch. Every single segment on Money in the Bank fucking came out of nowhere and fucking destroyed everybody that was a part of it. Apart from Bobby Lashley versus R-Truth. It came out...
Before we get to that, I would just like to announce that is the first time that you've ever sworn on this podcast. And you just did it 3 times in a sentence. So I can quite clearly see that you're not okay with Money in the Bank this week.
I'm very passionate about this show. About how much I hate this show.
Well, you said it was the most passionate that you've been since Enzo Amore teased the Flaming Table. Or Bubba teased the Flaming Table and Enzo Amore
ruined
it in 2014.
Yeah, that I was very angry then, and I'm very angry now.
6 years ago. Anyway, carry it on. I want to hear.
So we didn't even know this match was happening. Came out of nowhere, and MVP did this promo with R-Truth about basketball or some silly nonsense, and then MVP tags himself out, and Bobby Lashley has the match instead. Now, I would argue that before this match, the 3 of these guys I didn't care about, nobody cared about, didn't care about what they're doing. But after this match, is MVP ever going to have a match again? Is he going to get involved with Bobby Lashley as a manager, maybe? Or is he going to get involved with the Lana-Lashley relationship that's breaking down? R-Truth had maybe the best promo he's done in a very long time later on in the show. And Bobby Lashley came out of this match looking like a monster. He dominated like he should do. And like we just discussed, that there's too many squash matches that are boring, this was against an established wrestler that Lashley destroyed. So he looks good.
Okay, I understand your point of view there.
Coming out of this match, there's 3 people built forward that had proper character arcs that I'm interested in what they're going to do next. Unlike 12 people in the main event I couldn't give a fuck about.
All right. It's a valid point, actually. It really is. And I was going to say, from when I watched Raw, one of the few ideas that I like about it is MVP being like a scheming veteran and hiring Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. And I like the way he's slowly going around the roster, potentially looking for talent to build up this little crew, because he knows he can't really go anymore. With that being said, we know where it's going. We know that potentially MVP is going to side with Bobby Lashley or whatever, and that Bobby Lashley came out because Bobby Lashley needs to be pushed in front of a crowd or an audience. Why storyline? Why did Bobby Lashley just turn up? Was he just sick of the comedy?
In storyline, I just suppose there's not much reason for it. Unless MVP is going to become his manager. Okay. I don't know. It was just the one thing on the show that after it happened, I was genuinely intrigued to what's going to happen next.
I really don't want to take the one thing on the show that you enjoyed away from you. But why was this on the show as opposed to the pre-show when you built up Jeff Hardy for 4 weeks and then just throw him out before the actual main show? Why did this take precedence?
That made no sense. They ruined Jeff Hardy's debut. Or, I would argue, Mandy Rose Sonya Deville had their final battle on SmackDown, and it was like 3 minutes long. Why wasn't that put on the card?
That also didn't make any sense. They've been building that up for 3-4 months. So you've got Jeff Hardy on the pre-show, his big rehab comeback. You've got the blow-off to Mandy and Sonya on free TV. But you do get time for R-Truth versus Bobby Lashley. And I originally thought that this might be on the show for a nice little piece of fluff, comedic effect, because there might be a lot of serious matches on the show, but then you go to the main event and you didn't really need it.
I know. I mean, the card didn't make any sense top to bottom. It was all over the place. But no, I agree with you. Jeff Hardy's debut was ruined.
But I do agree, going back to your point, that whether you like the storyline or not, or whether it's serious or not, this is 101 wrestling booking where 3 people come out with interest for the next show. I do agree with that, and I think that they did achieve it, even if I didn't particularly understand why it was there or enjoy it.